Our finals are about to be underway here in Baltimore. A force and a passing of the turn by Andersen will get things underway.
And Chris's hand looks a little sketchy here. I think it's just all top end and no mana.
Mana Confluence into Warden of the first tree. That's the pressure Boswell's looking for. Andersen will draw a card. Picked up a copy of Pelucranos. There's a forest. No ramp here for Andersen. I don't even know if he has a third land or not. Boswell going to play a Warden. Just attack for 1. Andersen going to go to 19. Boswell going to take some damage to cast his favorite Fleece main line. Andersen will draw a card. Rattleclaw Mystic to draw.
Rattleclaw is a big draw here.
And if it survives, Boswell will take a draw step. Sketchy keep to say the least here from Andersen.
It's not looked great thus far, though he was already on 6 cards.
Yep.
Had Courser in hand.
Here come the beatdowns. Fleece main line and Warden of the first tree. Boswell going to pump the Warden, it appears.
Legacy Premier.
Actually, he's going to cast Jamoka's Command. He'll get Rattleclaw Mystic off the battlefield. It'll still be an attack here for 5, a healthy amount. We'll have a Temple post-combat. Take a look at that top card. We'll see where this will go.
In second place, Chris Faulkner.
Looks like it's going to stay on top for Boswell.
Bob Marshall.
To Andersen we go. Can he draw land? The answer is no. It's a carry added. Pass that turn back.
It's another shot at it, but he is now under some serious pressure.
Absolutely. Case of Coilos the draw. Here comes Rattleclaw and the Warden. Chris will take it. He's going down to 9. He's going a little bit lower than 9 now, I think. There's a Rhino. Looks like this one may has already gotten away from Chris.
Yep. I mean, a land plus a Pelucranos does not get him out of this, as he has to tap the carry added.
Andersen will draw a card. It's a copy of Death Mist Raptor. That's not going to help him either.
Water Premier IQ players, if you have no opponent, please raise your hand. Help them get to their seat.
He can cast it all he wants, but yeah, it's not going to save him. He realizes that he's going to concede the game. Andrew Boswell's going to win game number 1 here over Chris Andersen. On the draw, mind you. Obs on aggro, up a game very quickly here over Green Red Devotion. Bit of a steal there.
And that's a really painful one for Chris to lose, because things are not getting easier for him post-board.
You take a look at the sideboards. We'll start with Chris's, his 3 Den Protector, his 2 Hornet Nests, 4 Plummet, 2 Nissa World Waker, an Ugin, a Barrage of Boulders, and 2 copies of Roast. Roast is an easy one, but you'll notice not a ton of ammunition here for Chris.
Yeah, Chris really felt like the control matchups and the flying matchups was where he had to focus his attention. As a result of that, no real game for this matchup. I mean, I think he's assuming that his game 1's going to be really solid and his opponent's not going to have too much of a sideboard. 2 copies of Roast seem fine, but after that, I mean, there's not a lot going on. You can bring in the Hornet Nest, but Boswell's equipped with a lot of banishing effects, so it'll work some percent of the time. I think it's actually likely to come in, but it's not great in the matchup.
On the other side of things for Boswell, he's got some real heavy hitters against Devotion. A Herald of Torment, a copy of God's Willing and Ultimate Price, a Valorous Stance of Tassiger, 3 Hunt the Hunter, 3 Self-Inflicted Wound, and heck, maybe even those 4 Thoughtseizes.
Yeah, so pretty much everything here is really good.
Yeah.
3 Self-Inflicted Wound, 3 Hunt the Hunter, Valorous Stance, Ultimate Price, and Herald of Torment to me seem like no-brainers. I'm not a huge fan of Tassiger in the matchup. Gets outclassed on the ground pretty easily. Games are probably not slow enough to be able to activate it for much effect. And often you see Thoughtseize come in against Devotion strategies, and maybe it still does here, but I think Boswell is already bringing so many powerful cards to the table that Thoughtseize may not make the cut.
I mean, if he brings in the 4 copies of Thoughtseize, he's got to board out like 13 cards.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where he's making the room here. His removal suite's already very well suited for the matchup, so Thoughtseize may actually stay in the sideboard, which is pretty crazy, but you look at those other options there, and he's got better stuff to bring to the table, which is saying a lot.
We'll see how these players do sideboard. These are 2 decks that will probably get some upgrades from Magic Origins, and when they do get those upgrades, Regionals is where you're going to want to be to test those out. August 1st, Summer Regionals. You can plant your flag at one of these fantastic locations.
Yeah, we got venues announced all around the United States, and if you're not qualified for the Pro Tour and you're looking for a large cash tournament, an opportunity to rack up some Open Series points, or qualify for the Invitational, Regionals is a great opportunity to do just that. You can get more information for the event at starcitygames.com/regionals. And as you can see on the map here, the venue's already announced for August 1st.
When you do sign up for that tournament, we'll have an exclusive play mat for you. It's a play on that Ellen DeGeneres Oscars photo. All of our favorite creature collection creatures are there. Free and exclusive play mat to the first 200 players that do sign up. StarCityGames.com/regionals for more information. Plant your flag August 1st at Summer Regionals. A very successful program because of you guys participating in it, so thank you very much. We'll also have states later next year, too.
Yep, and that's how this stuff works, you know? Broadcast doesn't work if people don't watch. Tournaments don't work if people don't show up. Some tree falls in the forest type of action. So thank you, all of you out there who make this successful.
The Boswell player who's still looking for that first Open Series victory. He's one game away. He's got 8 Open Series top 8s. We're going to have to update that graphic because he just keeps right on winning. He's also got 2 Grand Prix top 8s. He top 8 at Grand Prix Miami a little earlier this year and top 8 at Grand Prix Boston Worcester last year. Actually lost in the finals playing Jund in Modern. The pottery, he's a big fan of. That's what he does during the week when he's not playing Magic on the weekends. Ian Duke, Reed Duke's brother, taught him how to play. And he, like so many we've talked to in the Open Series, big fan of StarCraft 2.
Yeah, Brad Nelson and Andrew Boswell have both mentioned this as one of their favorite games to watch.
Yeah, and it is one of the very best. I think there's like a new expansion out for that game recently.
I don't know.
I don't follow as much as I used to.
I am really bad at those kind of games.
Oh, you can't do RTS?
I do not click fast. I do not click fast.
Gotta work on that a little bit, man.
I don't know. There are some things in life that people are just genetically disqualified from. And there's no shame in that. That's how it works, you know?
Sure.
You need to be a particular height and speed and athleticism to play in the NBA. You need to be blessed with certain attributes to be able to do certain things, and I'm just not equipped to be good at first-person shooters.
See, it's people like you who would root against a guy like Matthew Dellavedova.
No, I'm glad he's doing his thing. And listen, all that scrappy whatever nonsense you want to say, you got to be an exceptional athlete to make it to the NBA.
That's true.
I don't care how poor you look against other NBA athletes. You have to be incredible to get to that level.
We can get there, man.
You know how hard it is to dunk a ball?
Probably pretty
It's
tough.
really hard.
Probably really
hard.
A temple is where Andersen will begin. Looks like both players have kept their 7 cards.
And that doesn't even get you very far. You know, that's just kind of the starting point, and that's really hard.
Boswell going to start with the Sansep Citadel. To Andersen we go. Hornet Nest the draw. Here's a forest. Here's some acceleration. This looks more like a devotion deck now.
Yep.
Boswell will take a draw. Copy of Fleet's main line, his favorite. There's a Windswept Heath. He'll go down to 19. Forester Plains on the way. He'll consult the hand before fetching. There is a basic forest. Andersen's got some nice top end in his hand and Dragon Lair Atark. He's just got to be able to get there. And as we saw on the sideboard, Boswell's bringing the hate.
Yes.
He's not messing around here.
Though what's interesting is he doesn't really have all that much removal at the end of the day for Hornet Nest. It is a bit of a weakness for his deck. He does have the 4 copies of Ultimate Price once we get to the sideboard games. But Dramoka's Command doesn't do a whole lot there. Valorous Stance doesn't do a whole lot there. I guess he has Herald of Torment as a workaround, but
There's Nykthos.
Hornet Nest is an unpleasant card for him in the matchup.
See if Andersen wants to play that this turn or not. It appears that he does. We'll see if Boswell has the answer as he'll draw a card. Just a Fleece main line right now for the Boz.
And if he can't kill this Hornet Nest and just has to deploy some more ground pounders, Chris has the opportunity to run away with this game in short order.
Does
not take that long.
Yep. Here's a Temple to start. Top card going to go to the bottom here for Boswell. The follow-up might be a Death Dealer. Fleece main line, Ultimate Price would be timely right now. Hornet Nest is not easy for Boswell to get through unless he has exactly Ultimate Price.
Maybe he has other removal to back up. He has Self-Inflicted Wound, which can take care of it, but the ship sailed on that.
Just a Death Dealer and passing the turn. Rattleclaw misses the draw here for Andersen.
And you know, it already feels like we're at a spot now where we're going to see a turn of mana development here, and then Hell Unleashed the following turn.
Yeah, it's the calm before the storm. Chris looking at that Xenagos. That might be the buildup. There is Xenagos. Gonna make a Satyr token. Just pass the turn back.
And Chris can afford to make a Satyr token here because Boswell's not in a position to attack into the Hornet Nest.
I thought we might see him plus it and then cast Rattleclaw Mystic. But maybe he's got bigger plans for that card. Boswell has a copy of Hunt the Hunter. I'll take care of the Satyr token. Here come the beatdowns. Well, Hornet Nest, get while the getting's good. There's a block. Bunch of insects on the way. Boswell's gonna have to try to plow through these now with those death dealers.
Yeah, I mean this is a tough slog.
Yeah.
It's a plan, you know. It's the best he could do without ultimate price, but
you can tell Boswell knows just how good Xenagos was going to be for Chris the following turn.
Yeah.
That he's got to get it off the battlefield at any cost, and the cost was pretty gosh darn high. There's a forest for Andersen.
Legacy top 8 competitors.
and what's so powerful about this Green Devotion deck, we've seen it several times from Chris, is how many games has he gone crazy with Nykthos and it mattered? Not really that many.
Not a ton.
He's just kind of playing lands and casting his spells, and that's been good enough so far.
Chris getting a little aggressive here with those insects in the air. Going to come across for 2. He'll manifest. Don't know how much I love that attack simply because he's the control deck in the matchup.
I don't really mind it here because what's Boswell going to do? What's his attack?
Sure. I suppose Boswell's turn could just be attack with both my death dealers, and Chris just says, all right, I'll block both my insects. You have to regenerate both the creatures, and that's your turn.
Yep. Or he can also say no blocks because
He is at 20. Yeah.
You know.
There is that, I suppose.
I mean, I understand your position of maybe not great to race, but what he can do here, I think, is just induce some blocks. He's playing towards Dragonlord Atarka, so if he gets Boswell to tap low, he can sweep up the whole board.
Hunt the Hunter. Fleecemane Lion will take down Whisperwood Elemental. Here come the beatdowns. See, the reason I like blocking here is just because I just want to choke Boswell's mana.
Yep.
That's all I want to do.
The thing is that Chris may be better served choking the mana the following turn. I think what he wants to do is jam Boswell up on the turn where he's going to follow up with Dragonlord Atarka and can take care of the whole board.
Let's see what the manifest was. Must not have been much of anything if Chris is blocking with it. It's just, okay, well.
That's
Chris-
the other option.
Yeah.
Is a Death Mist Raptor. He wants to get it back down
Yep,
the line.
Chris has morphs in hand, so makes sense. See what the draw is here for Andersen. It's a copy of Elvish Mystic. Still building towards Dragonlord Atarka, or at least trying to. Den Protector in hand. Same with Rattleclaw Mystic.
Now, this is the turn where I like holding back enough Death Touch blockers that if Boswell tenders a big attack, you jam him up because he's going to be able to have enough mana to cast Dragonlord Atarka.
Rattleclaw Mystic's going to unmorph. Death Mist Raptor's going to come back. Now he gets to return. Actually, excuse me, now he gets to play Death Mist Raptor. Pardon me.
You got it.
I can do this.
You got it, man.
He gets to play Den Protector face down now. All these morphs are confusing me. Rattleclaw Mystic unmorphs, brings back Death Mist Raptor. That's a surge in mana to play a morph, which is a Den Protector, which will eventually return something. I'm back on. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nicely done.
It's been a long weekend.
Whew. There's a lot going on.
There
a lot
is.
of triggers, you know, it's fine. You're good.
Boswell will draw a card. That's a lot easier to see.
Yeah. He drew a creature.
Yep.
He may attack. He might not.
Might be time for some beatdowns here. I do like the idea of choking up the mana this turn, as you mentioned.
Right, he leads into Dragonlord Atarka next turn, so if you force him to regenerate, he loses everything.
So the thing, too, is that Andrew kind of sees through that. And that's great, obviously. But that also, what that is, okay, well, Chris doesn't have to cast it now.
Right, what's the plan?
Yeah. If you're not attacking, that's more time for me to just set up whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, you know, Boswell's got the mana left over here where he can go monstrous with Fleecemane Lion on tap, and then maybe he can start making some forward progress, but he's getting hit in the air here. Chris's board is so advanced. It's a tough slog.
Yeah, it's really just not the end of the world here for Chris. Now, it looks like he might go the Atarka route.
And I think he's just saying, okay, well, I'll ping your death dealers or your lion and your death dealer, and you got to choose between something here,
Yep.
and I can attack you with a bunch of stuff.
Yep. And keep in mind that Morph is a Den Protector, so if Boswell does have Valorous Stance, get to rebuy.
Yeah, who doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Chris is ahead on every facet of the game right now. Board presence, life total, ability to attack, inevitability. And Boswell's not one of these lists with an end hostilities floating around in the sideboard. I mean, he's not really equipped to come back from this.
Fleeceman Lion has gone monstrous. Death Dealer has bit the dust. And now here come the insect tokens in the air for Andersen. Looking to chip away a little bit more at Boswell's life total and start working towards game number 3. Looks like maybe all the insects are going to come in, but just 2 now for Andersen. Boswell down to 13. And now we go back to the Bos, who will draw a card. Llanowar Waste is the land.
I think Boswell's going to make a good show of it here. Not going to concede.
No reason to. It's the finals of the tournament.
Going to play it out, but
What's big for Boswell here is that he won game 1.
yes.
Because him being on the play in this matchup is a world of difference. That's when your self-inflicted wounds get to be really, really good. But being on the draw with the draw that Chris has had has been really tough.
Hunt the Hunter also on the play makes it more likely that he kills something and then hits for a lot of damage.
Yep.
Here he's been sort of doing some defensive Hunt the Hunters. They've been 1-mana removal spells, but they haven't allowed him to attack in the same turn.
Fleeceman Lion going to come in. You saw Valorous Stance take care of the Dragon Lord Atarka. Chris has so much life that he could just say, I'll take it. But he also is kind of incentivized to block with Deathness Raptor because he knows he's just going to be getting it back.
Yeah, all this is fine.
Yeah. There's Fleeceman Lion. There's Rashacha Death Dealer. Boswell to take a damage. He's empty-handed now. Chris is working with perfect information outside of what's on top of Boswell's deck. So he's going to quickly untap. He'll take a draw here. We might have Dragon Lord Atarka back in just a moment as Den Protector was the draw. He will unmorph. Deathness Raptor comes back. Chris is going to return Xenagos.
Jamal Jupiter.
And we could have a really fun turn in just a moment.
Matthew Ring and Alex Rubin, please report to the stage.
It's already pretty fun.
Once again, Legacy players Jamal Jupiter.
There's 4 mana. There's
Matthew
Xenagos.
Ring and Alex Rubin to the stage, please.
Xenagos, if it goes up, 7 mana. Can he do everything that he wants to this turn?
Maybe checking to see if he can Den Protector down, get back Atarka all in one turn.
Yep.
Which sounds comical and impossible, but actually is not.
Yeah, not for this deck. There's face down Den Protector now.
He's doing all of this before he taps the Nykthos, so he can have maximum green mana symbols in play for when he finally decides to do whatever it is that he's going to do.
He's just got to make sure he's got a red mana left over to actually cast Dragon Lord Atarka.
Yep.
That's the key here. You see him doing the math in his head. Maybe moved a little too fast here. It's unclear if he has enough mana to do it all at this point. If he doesn't have enough mana to do it all, I don't even want to play the Den Protector. Although you do risk, I suppose, losing it to a top deck Thoughtseize.
Yeah. Boswell sitting very patiently here.
We've seen this pose from
Yeah.
Andrew before. Not willing to concede.
Knows he's beat, but whatever.
Yep, just going to play the games.
Yep.
Perhaps Chris makes some sort of egregious errors, and he's able to steal it. He's already up a game after all. Also can get a little information about how Chris is sideboarded here.
Yep.
Get Nykthos activation. Den Protector gonna unmorph. Bring back Wishbone Elemental, cast that. Looks like Den Protector and some insects will attack. Boswell checking to make sure he can block with the Fleece main line if he'd like. And he can if he wants to.
Yep.
Looks like he will. Chris will get a manifest here in just a moment, so long as he does remember from Whisperwood Elemental, and he does. And he'll pass the turn back. An explosive turn nonetheless. Doesn't involve Dragonlord Tarka, but it does involve him being pretty stable on the board.
Yeah, he's good.
Still at 20.
It's all good.
Yep.
See a blockers here for Boswell's board. 3 flyers in the air.
Hard to not feel in an advantageous position right now if you're Chris Andersen. Here comes the old Fleece main lion. Oh, Death Dealer's feeling a little frisky. No, they're not.
Yeah, Boswell's got to leave stuff to block on the way back. Because remember, he's at 8 and Chris is at 20 in all of this as well.
Chris very calmly reaching for the pen. Says, I'll go to 16. Whisper Elemental will bite the dust due to a top deck Valorous stance. Can Chris attack for lethal this turn, I suppose is the question. 2 blockers here for Boswell.
Yes.
It looks like, yeah.
Xenagos activation.
Yeah, with the Xenagos activation, probably enough.
I actually don't think he even needs the Xenagos activation. But
yeah. Chris says, I'll make a Satyr and attack with everything. Make him go through it, Boswell. I love it. All right, that'll do it. Chris Andersen going to win game number 2 here against Andrew Boswell. We're all even up.
Doesn't even flinch.
No,
I'll attack
no.
you for lethal. You're dead on board. All right, I'll wait.
Prove it.
Prove it. I don't believe you. Let's attack and we'll sort it out. Love it.
You see the sideboards here available for both players. Think anything changes player draw?
I think Thoughtseize might become less attracted to Boswell when he's on the play. And, you know, on the draw, he might feel like he needs more answers to certain things. I don't think a whole lot changes. And I think Boswell right now appears to just be shuffling and going about his business, so I don't think there's any changes to be had.
I don't think either player is going to change too much here. Boswell's got a lot of tools. He's just got to draw them and get off to an aggressive start.
And some of his cards here, Hunt the Hunter, Self-Inflicted Wound, a lot more powerful when he's on the play.
Looks like he's going to reach to the box, maybe to check things through. While he does that, we will talk about the Season 3 schedule here on the Open Series one last time, as we started things off with a Modern Grand Prix in Charlotte. Michael Malone, the champion there with Elves in Modern. You saw an Open Series in Indianapolis last week, and then Eric, the Thrill Real Assassin, did win with Green Red Dragons. Right now, we're watching the finals here in Baltimore between Andrew Boswell and Chris Andersen. Chicago's going to be an absolute blast. Our first time there, and Magic Origins.
Yeah, we're going to take a couple weeks off here after Baltimore for some Magic Origins festivities, and then we head to Chicago, first time in Open Series history, to debut that standard format, July 18th and 19th. We head to Richmond for a Standard Open, then Legacy in Washington, D.C., Standard Grand Prix in London, back to Charlotte for a Modern Open Series event, and then the Season 3 Invitational in New Jersey. Standard and Legacy as the invitational formats with a 2-day $20,000 Standard Open Series event, August 28th through the 30th.
And as usual, you joining those main events, you will get the Tassiper, the Golden Paw playmat
yeah.
with our good friend Bananas, the slave dog.
Yep. Just hanging out, just enjoying whatever this life is that Bananas has been cursed with. Tassiper, cursed! Seems pretty heavy on the balance. Tassiper scheming up how to, you know, throw up in your shoes or knock over your fetch lands or all the things that my cat happens to do. Anyhow, it's available for free anytime you enter one of the two-day $20,000 Open Series events during Season 3. We don't mail it to you after the fact. We don't give it to the first X people who register. It's yours, free of charge. Just show up anytime during Season 3.
Cats throwing up in your shoes is just really aggressive.
Yeah, that's on purpose. That's the thing, is so much of it seems malicious. Like, that's not, you know, the cat throws up somewhere, the cat's going to do that. You know, that's whatever. Cat's going to bump some things over. They're going to do that.
Yep.
Back in my old place where I was living, we got Patches and Sergeant Whiskers, pair of cats. And they were a little skittish.
I assume they weren't people.
We adopted them from some other people. And they were a little skittish, as cats often are. In their first couple days in the house, they're hiding underneath the bed, and you know they're sort of intimidated by the new environment. And I'm in my room one day, and they come in. They my door is cracked open, and they push the door open, and they look at me, and they meow a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay, this is awesome. We've had a breakthrough. They feel comfortable coming into my room. They wander around for a little while, and then they look at each other, wander into my bathroom, and I hear them jump up onto the sink and knock everything over, and then jump off of the sink and walk out of the room and go back to doing whatever they were doing before. That is on purpose. I'm sure if the two of them sat around with Tassiper, they would scheme up some pretty horrible things.
Cats are malicious.
They are.
They're
No-
kind of
no question.
They're kind of cuddly and nice, but you know they are malicious. So I'm a dog guy. I side with Bananas for sure, every time.
Just happy to be hanging out.
Indeed. Boswell's going to keep. We're underway here in game number 3. A Temple of Silence is where things will begin for our final game in Baltimore. Top card goes to the bottom. Andersen's turn. Now, does he have the Elvish Mystic draw? He's got a Forest. Yes, he does. That's big for Andersen on the draw. Boswell draws a copy of Caves of Koilos. He'll sacrifice that Windswept Teeth. Forest on the way for the Rakshasa Death Dealer.
And Andrew with Hunt the Hunter in hand, and that's the sequence we were talking about before, where he's not just using it as a removal spell. He's using it to kill something and then hit for a lot of damage.
It's a good start here for both players. Andersen will complete shuffling, and we'll see what his second turn brings here in just a moment. He'll draw a card. You see Sylvan Caryatid in the grip. Pelucranos the draw for the turn. Looks like a Wooded Foothills in hand, too. So if he needs red mana, he's got access to it. You also see the copy of Roast in hand. He'll start by playing a Temple. We'll see where that top card goes. It looks like it's headed to the bottom, though Chris will consult the hand a little more. He's got some nice payoffs in hand, and Dragonlord, Tarka, and Whisperwood Elemental. There's a Caryatid. Pass the turn back, trying to set up for a turn 3 Whisperwood.
And he's got hits on all the turns.
Yeah.
He's got Pelucranos, he's got Whisperwood, he's got Dragonlord and Tarka on the top end, and to top it all together, he's got a Roast to help give him the time.
Boswell will draw a card. It's his third turn of the game. Quite a few lands right now in Andrew's hand. He'll start by playing a Windswept Teeth. He's down to 18. See if a Plains is on the way or not. Looks like he'll go with the Forest.
Boswell typically prioritizes getting as much green mana as possible so he can pump as much as possible into the Death Dealer.
Sure.
This is a little awkward because it takes Anafenza off the table, but it wouldn't surprise me if Anafenza has been boarded out in this matchup.
He's got to board out something.
Yeah, and it's not a lot of power relative to mana cost, and Chris is really good at blocking, so Anafenza's got to go.
You said you wanted to see him hit for a lot. He just did that. Hunt the Hunter and then pump the Death Dealer. Andersen down to 14. He'll draw a card right now. Hit the Forest. Does he want to go Roasting or does he want to go to Pelucranos? That's the question. Well, the question's been answered pretty quickly. He'll play Pelucranos, pass the turn back over to Boswell.
Some risk here. I mean, this is opening up, something like Valorous Stance to be a really big tempo swing.
Jamoka's Command was the draw here.
The other issue here is that Chris, if Boswell puts together another black source of mana before combat, Chris can't even block.
Yep.
He's taken another 6 points of damage. And then things like Siege Rhinos or self-inflicted wounds could finish off the game, even if Boswell doesn't connect in combat for the remainder of the game. I think that I would have preferred Roast last turn. I think this play comes with a lot of risk. And I think that Chris's hand is powerful enough that he could have taken the time off.
Boswell thinking long and hard before playing a land. Looks like he's going to go with Caves of Koilos.
And that's that second black mana.
Yep. Now he can kind of sneak in 2 points of damage if he'd like. You see the hand, it's not really all that impressive. There are 2 lands there in Llanowar Waste of Mana Confluence, and then Jamoka's Command and a Siege Rhino. Like I said, pretty land heavy. Will he attack? And if he does, how will he use the Death Dealer? I think that's the big question right now.
Yeah, it's tough because you can't really just tap out for Siege Rhino in the spot. Because if Chris has a land, he goes use Pelucranos, fight down your Death Dealer. Got 7/7 back on defense. and Boswell's Jamocha's command is not worth very much.
Yeah. Well, here's the attack. And predictably, Chris ain't blocking. Is Boswell pumping is the question.
I think you got to see at least one pump here.
Just don't like casting Siege Rhino here?
It's, you know, if Boswell had an answer somewhere for Polukranos, I think I would be down with it. If you are playing Siege Rhino here, you are banking on Chris not having a 5th mana.
Well, that's what he's hoping for.
And maybe Boswell thinks his odds are so long that that's how he's got to play. Maybe it's just too clunky to try to keep the Death Dealer alive if Chris has a 5th mana anyway.
Andersen will draw a card. It's a Wooded Foothills. He'll play that pretty quickly. The straightforward play is activate Polukranos, kill the Death Dealer, maybe D up a little bit. But there's also the play of, maybe I need to roast here because I'm worried about Jamocha's command. I don't want that to get countered.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on because if Chris believes that Boswell can kill the Polukranos, fight for 2, say go, is pretty risky. He's going to go to 8 off this fetch land. The Siege Runner would knock him down to 4, and then he could get burned out with a number of cards. If he's looking to just maximize the conservative route, I think it might be Whisperwood Elemental this turn. Gives him 2 blockers. And it makes attacking a little bit challenging for Boswell. Also makes using removal spells a little challenging.
He's going to go to Polukranos to take care of the Death Dealer. He'll just pass the turn back with a 7/7 on defense. Boswell will draw a card. Didn't get a great look at it. There's a land. And he'll just pass the turn back very, very quickly. Not what he was looking for.
That was an opening there for Boswell to rip a removal spell.
Yep.
And I think he's in great shape if he does, but now it's going to get real hard.
Wooded Foothills to play there for Andersen. Chris 1 mana away from Dragon Lord Atarka. He'll start by playing a Roast. This is something Boswell can handle pretty easily with Jamocha's command.
So put a counter, gets to prevent the damage.
Yep.
Or whatever.
Rhino now 5/6. Andersen gonna sacrifice. That Foothills go down to 7.
You know, if the play here is play a morph and say go, Boswell's still drawing to a removal spell on Polukranos.
And this turn, I kind of just want to face up the Rattle Mystic instead of taking the damage.
Well, I think that Chris is trying to get to lock up access to Dragon Lord Atarka. Assuming that Boswell can kill the Polukranos, then at least you have your 8/8 flyer.
Let's see what the draw is. It's an important one. It's a copy of Jamocha's command.
I mean, that was an opportunity for something like Hunt the Hunter, for example.
To be really bad news.
You know, for as much as Boswell has flooded out, he's had some very live draws the last couple of turns.
He'll play a land. All you can do is pass the turn back over to Andersen. Andersen will draw a card here. Dragon Lord Atarka is available if he'd like to cast it. Whisperwood Elemental is an option too. And he's going to go the Whisperwood route. That surprise you a little?
No, I can appreciate Whisperwood here because the ground's getting locked up to the point where Siege Rhino doesn't matter all that much. And then Dragon Lord Atarka can kill whatever follow-up Boswell has.
Okay.
That said, with command here, he now has a 7/8 Siege Rhino. That can brawl through the Polukranos. And if he draws Hunt the Hunter or removal spell for Polukranos, Chris is in a lot of trouble yet again.
Yep, just a copy of Death Dealer here. There's Mana Confluence, pass the turn back. Andersen's gonna untap. He'll take a draw here. His hand, 2 copies of Dragon Lord Atarka, and now a mystery card. I know Atarka isn't gonna kill anything on this board. I just want to have an 8/8 on the table.
Yeah.
He'll unmorph Rattleclaw Mystic. Little surge in mana.
I mean, you got to give Boswell credit. He has extracted everything out of every card he's drawn.
Yep. There's Dragon Lord Atarka. Damage is going to go towards that Death Dealer. Here's Regeneration. Pass and turn back.
Matthew Lane, please report to the stage.
Boswell will draw.
Lane, please report to the stage.
Just an Urborg. Death Dealer can attack for a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, he can pop it to an 8/8 and regenerate. I believe he's got 4 green and certainly has 4 black with Urborg in play.
This demands a block. And double blocking isn't going to get you very far.
With another copy of Dragon Lord Atarka in hand, Chris does have the option to block, force all of the mana, and kill it. Looks like he's just going to chump block instead and start to race, which I can appreciate as a line, as he is not as safe as he might appear.
Nykthos the draw. See how aggressive Andersen wants to get here.
For your 4th and final round are going up. Please make your way to your seats.
Here comes Dragon Lord Atarka in the air, it appears. I think he maybe thought briefly about maybe getting in there with Pelucranos.
Can't do that. I mean, I guess he could play the second copy of Dragon Lord Atarka after the fact.
I mean, Siege Rhino currently a 6/7, where Pelucranos is a 7/7, so you win in combat with Pelucranos, but it is a little aggressive.
But again, Andrew's not done yet. Hunt the Hunter is an enormous draw still.
See what the draw is. Didn't get a great look at that one either. Doesn't appear to be Hunt the Hunter. The fact that Boswell has outs in this situation is...
It's incredible how competitive this game still is.
Yep.
You know, if Boswell loses, it's just going to look like, you know, he had 6 spells against 8 lands, and that's a summary of the game right there. But he had a lot of windows to punk Chris out of this game. Draw steps so far have not cooperated.
Valorous stance, going to go after Pelucranos. We'll see where this gets the Boz.
That's a huge draw. I mean, this sets up a pretty big attack here. This is going to necessitate 2 chump blocks. Siege Rhino potentially trampling over for quite a bit.
Chris got a little cute with the morphing here instead of face up.
Yeah.
Just a touch. Because now Rattleclaw Mystic has a tap to unmorph Death Mist Raptor.
Yeah, this is really...
There goes Pelucranos.
But both of Boswell's creatures are lethal.
Siege Rhino's a 6/7.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Now, Boswell is dead on the way back if he attacks with everything. No, excuse me, he's 1 short.
Yep.
No, he's 1 short. This is unbelievable. Now, Boswell can't take another point here.
Yeah, that's true. So here's a pump and a regenerate, it appears.
Yeah, got a little fancy with that.
You needed Rattleclaw Mystic as a blocker there, I
Yep.
think.
You're a lot safer if Rattleclaw, Death Mist Raptor is going in front of the Rhino, and you're chump blocking the Death Dealer.
Now Chris might not even be able to attack. It really depends on what he draws. He drew a copy of Rattleclaw Mystic, which might be... I mean, it's a very good draw because it brings back Death Mist Raptor. But now Boswell has outs, yet again, in Siege Rhino, and a bevy of other cards.
Self-inflicted wound.
Yep.
We got to a point here where Herald of Torment is likely a draw.
Yep.
I mean, again, it's incredible this game is as close as... If you just look at the spells in both players' graveyards right now, it is really impressive that Boswell's hanging around.
We got a morph. That's a Rattleclaw Mystic. That brings back Den Protector when it unmorphs.
But I'm not even positive Chris can attack with Dragon Lord Atarka
Yeah,
at
and
this
he's
point.
holding back now. And if he's not attacking with Dragon Lord Atarka, that's more draw steps for Boswell. He'll pass the turn back. Boswell untap draw. He has ways to win the game right now. What's he draw?
Valorous stance. That's a kill here. Self-inflicted wound is a kill here.
Rhino's a kill.
Herald of Torment is a kill.
Does he get the? Yeah, he gets a trample past Dragon Lord Atarka.
Yeah, too big. Rhino's too big.
Yep, Rhino's too big. And Boswell can't take a point of damage from his lands.
And he is dead on the way back with the board the way that it currently is. Because Dragon Lord Atarka is 8. The unmorphing gets back a 3rd creature.
Boswell's going to the attack step. Unmorph Rattleclaw Mystic. Bring back Death Mist Raptor. There's blocking to be done. Rattleclaw Mystic will jump in front of Death Dealer. Dragon Lord Atarka is going to go in front of Siege Rhino. You're going to pump there on the Rattleclaw. Excuse me, on the Death Dealer. He's reaching for a bunch of mana.
Is it?
What is this? Shimoka's
Oh
command-
my God! That's a 9/9 now. Oh my God!
Andrew Boswell is going to win this match here over Chris Andersen. His first Open Series win. He is the champion here in Baltimore. What a third game.
Wow, that is just, again, you just look at the spells each player cast in that game. There's not a lot to say about the game sometimes. Boswell squeezed every ounce out of every card he drew, looked dead to rights several times, and that was unbelievable.